Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. Well, you saw the title, Top 5 Best Hints on How to Handle Your Parents Getting Divorced. Now these hints are only based off of my experience when my parents got divorced. I didn't get them from a book, no one's telling me to do this. I just wanted to tell you what helped me the best handle, not like a certain part of my parents getting divorced, but the entire thing. So these will be big things. So number one, the first thing you want to do is take your time, but don't take forever to realize, or don't stay in denial that your parents aren't getting divorced. It's like a little battle that's going on in your head about, is this actually happening? Wait, this can't be happening. This just can't be happening. And until that thought, because this is such a new thing and it feels like an earthquake, until that thought goes away is when you pass the stage of denial and you actually, you're not accepting that it's happening, but now you can start a bit of your journey on how to handle and process this entire thing. And it's going to be a rocky journey, and it's not going to make up your entire life, and it's not going to define you. It's just going to help you be a better person. It's going to help you find yourself, and it's going to help you discover things like your weaknesses and strengths that you didn't even know you had. You definitely, if you come out from this accepting that your parents have been divorced and are getting a divorce and have been divorced, and that life in that area will never be the same, you will be a better person for it. You will be a stronger person for it. You will have a lot more willpower. You will be a more successful person in life because you'll be able to apply the knowledge and willpower it took to overcome that over a long period of time, which is a lot, which says something about your perseverance to other things in life, like work or other family things in the future. So the second thing is, in this process, obviously you can't do it alone. It'd be like trying to move a mountain all by yourself, which it kind of feels like it sometimes. If you're a kid and your parents are getting divorced, you can relate to that it does feel like trying to get a handle on your emotions or trying to get people to understand is like moving a mountain by yourself. I can understand that, and that feeling is there, but it's not always going to stay there, and you also need to realize that. So you need to find people that you trust. I'm just going to give an example: a therapist, a really good friend, really good friends, more than one, that you can talk to, that you trust, that aren't your parents. If your parents are right there, like they're the ones getting divorced, they're the ones who have probably the most things to say. You don't want to find someone that has a bunch of things to say. You want to find someone that will listen, that you trust will actually listen to what you have to say, and help you discover answers to any questions, help you get things off your chest. And it's a really, really healthy thing. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're actually in it and you need to say something, or you have this thought and you need to get it out of off of your chest, it's very healthy to have someone to talk to that you actually trust. And of course, little things like that can build your relationship with that person. The third thing I want to tell you, as you're going through this, lots of thoughts will be going through your head all the time, but one thing I want to tell you is that this is not a permanent thing. It's a process that has a start and a finish. And of course, your time is different than everyone else's. How long you stay in each stage of grief is different from everyone else's. Of course, how you handle this entire thing in general is different from everyone else's process. So if you're in a stage of depression, don't convince yourself, don't try to convince yourself that this is permanent, or this is who you're going to be from now on, or this is me. Don't let that the thought that's making you depressed define you as a person. Just give yourself the time you need to be sad, because we all know you can't just be happy in a matter of seconds, but don't get stuck there. So yeah, remembering that it's not permanent and there is better times in the future, and that's a fact. Realizing that, it will help you a lot. Wow, I'm being a little extra right now, or I don't need to be crying for 2.5 hours. I don't need to be convincing myself of something I really know isn't true. So, and by something that you really know isn't true, I mean, I'm the reason my parents got divorced, or I'm the reason my mom or my dad moved out of the house, or I'm the reason there's a lot of fighting between my parents. No, none of that is true, okay? you know for a fact that things are going to be rocky right now. So of course there's going to be things that you start thinking that aren't true, and that could get you in a depressive stage, or that could make you angry or something like that. And that brings me to my next point. Number 3, 4, or 5, I forgot. When you go through a process like this and you have time to think and you have too much to think about, even if you are, finding people you can talk to and trust, you're still going to be thinking a lot. You need to be able to stop yourself at a certain point, because if you have a thought in your head, say you start thinking about, okay, why your parents got divorced, and you start conjuring up this idea that you're the reason, and with time, if you keep on thinking of that idea that you are the reason your parents are getting divorced, soon you're going to start convincing yourself of that, and then you're going to go and get depressed, and then the next morning you're just going to be sad, and that's what you're going to think about, and you're not going to want to talk to anyone, because now you've convinced yourself that that's true, and you'll figure out, why am I talking to anyone about it? So you don't want to spend too much time, or you don't want to go too deep into any thought without talking to someone you trust their opinion is going to help you, like a therapist or a really close friend, or else something bad will happen like that. And after something like that happens, which, not that exact thing, like you blaming yourself for something, but the idea of you digging yourself into a hole over a thought will happen in this process. I'll tell you that. So when it happens, just watch out for it. Remember what I said, find someone you can trust. It's kind of like when you find someone to talk to, like a therapist, it's like you're coming back to reality pretty much. And that can either jog you and you'll be like, oh wow, what was I thinking? Or it'll take you a second, but sooner than later you will come out of that idea that you were the reason your parents got divorced, or you're the reason your dad or mom is moving out. Number 5, I could be wrong. Also, the camera is shaking because I have it on this contraption to get it to my head level so the lighting is good and everything. So number 5 is about happiness, because in times like these, your train of thought, your general brain of your train of thought is just distorted. It's everywhere. It's not in par with reality. It might be a little, but huge factors in your lives that you consider big deals and something important is what's throwing it off, which is your parents getting divorced. So in a time of being neutral, meaning you're not sad, you're not depressed, you're just hanging out or whatever, just think of something that makes you happy. For example, a hobby you have. I like cars and houses, so when I think of, like, I'm gonna have a $40 million house one day, which will not happen, that makes me happy. And when you're in a time like this, or a stage of sadness, and you remember that happiness is just right around the, not even right around the corner, it's literally just right there, it's really hard to access happiness when you're, or at least that's what people think when they're in that time of sadness. They think it's impossible to access happiness. They think it just doesn't exist in that point of time. But if you just think of something that makes you happy, even if you don't have hobbies, which is pretty much impossible, if you just like throwing sticks at a tree and that makes you happy, like the noise it makes or something, I don't know. Something does make you happy. I know that's true. There's something in this world that makes you happy. And the thought of it could bring you back to the surface. And of course, it probably most likely will take time, but it will help you bring yourself back to the surface from being in a depressive stage or being in a time of sadness all by yourself or something like that. Like a key to get yourself out of a stage. Because when you're in a stage, you're in like a tornado. You can't really, unless you use something else to get out, you're just gonna stay there. So you need something, someone to talk to, something to think about that you know is a fact, it makes you happy, something to counter whatever that feeling is, which is sadness in this case. So thank you for watching. Lightly tap the subscribe button. Don't hit it or smash it. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you actually got something from this video. That's what I'm trying to do for you guys. Actually, you can get something from these videos that you can relate to, or you can, actually use in your life, or in a time of real-time sadness or real-time anger. Of course, I only have like barely any videos on this channel, but more videos will be focused on different sections. This was more of a broad topic discussing how to handle everything. I'm thinking 1 a week because I'm actually starting to get traction on this channel, but high school was like really time consuming. The weekends is the only time I can post, I'm pretty sure, but I'm thinking once a week or twice a week, depending on how much traction I get. Also, leave a comment, leave your thoughts. So thanks for watching. More videos to come. Enjoy your day, and good night.